Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you this mid-afternoon for a album review. I don't know when this review is going to come out because my 4G has been acting a bit slow now to the rest of the day. So pretty much I'm returning to you for Boys Like Girls' new album, which I have not heard that name in quite a while, and their new album Sunday at Foxwoods that I just got a chance to check out for their, I believe, fourth studio album, because this is their first album in a little over a decade, since their last 2012 album. So basically, I'm going to discuss what I listened to for all 13 songs, which is a 42-minute album, and let you know my thoughts on this album overall. So let's dive into this album review. Now, it starts with the first track, Sunday at Foxwoods. It mentions like a newscasting, I think it's pertaining to Fox News or whatever. I don't know. That's how I'm viewing it, I guess. But I think the song's message behind it's interesting. But I wouldn't say it's the best interlude track to start it for the album, because it is an intro track and it's only a minute and 30 something seconds or something like that. So pretty much I'd give this a 4.5 out of 5. The Outside is a pretty strong track. I really like this track overall. This actually had me really dancing along to this song, meaning I could feel for it. The lyrics, yeah, they're interesting, but mostly it's just the melody. It is a feel-good kind of track, but I think it works to what they were going for, so 5 out of 5 in my opinion. Language was very experimental. Wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but when that chorus came in and I kept listening and progressing through the track, I was like, this is a bop. I'm going to be honest, this is a bop. Because I could actually feel for this track too, so I really like this one pretty much, so 5 out of 5. Blood and Sugar, solid, not something I'm crazy for, but the lead singer makes it work, and let me know, I think his name's Martin, is his name, the lead singer. His vocals are not so bad in certain songs, so give this a 4.5 out of 5 for Blood and Sugar. New Love is a good track in its own way, just not something I'm crazy for in my opinion, so I think it's solid for what I went for, 4.5 out of 5. Then comes Miracle, and that was a pretty good song. The chorus is probably the best part of the track in my opinion, and just most of the other stuff with the track did alright. So pretty much 5 out of 5. Cry is a pretty cool song that, I don't know, it just sounded iffy to me. I didn't hate it, I just wasn't sure if I was going to like it that much. But it's nice for what it sounds like, so 4.5 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5, I meant to say. Sorry, I've been messing up with my wording a bit. Monday Morning, well, mostly slurring a bit, so please forgive that. Monday Morning is another interlude track that goes into the next song, Physical, which I will be talking about what I think of Physical. Personally, I think this song is alright as an interlude. It's not the worst thing I've heard, but I just don't really. It has a nice melody, but the interlude stuff where it's pertaining to like where you just are listening to a newscast, hearing it out or whatever, it's like, okay. So it's kind of weird. So 4.5 out of 5. Then comes Physical. This track is cringy. I didn't like it that much. I was hoping to like something like this, but I was left with disappointment. This was probably the worst song on the album. Just don't like the melody. It sounds cringy with how Martin's singing it from time to time. And just when the chorus comes in, it's not really memorable. This is a forgettable track, if I'm being honest. Sorry about my yawning. So 2.5 out of 5. I didn't like this track that much. Then comes Hourglass, the 10th track on the album. This is where the album starts to sound a little bit better, in a good way. So I think I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5 for this song. I didn't hate it for how it sounded. And just the way Martin's singing it, it sounded alright. Then comes Story of a Lifetime. This one actually had some interesting production. I actually do like this track a lot. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it at first because of how the verses sounded, but it grew on me. It took a little bit of time to grow on me. That chorus is where Martin shines with his vocals, and it sounds really good production and mixing wise. So 5 out of 5 for this track. Pretty good song. Then comes Brooklyn State of Mind. This one is solid. It's not the worst track to. It's the second to last song before you get to the closing track mostly, but it sounds alright for what it goes for. And sorry, I was getting distracted because I was writing my next rating for what I was going to give that song, and Physical too. So basically 4.5 out of 5 for Brooklyn State of Mind. Good track in its own way. So yeah. Then we get to the final song, Lost in Wonderland. Mellow track, it's acoustic, and it sounds really nice. So I'd give this a 4.5 out of 5. Nice closing track to end the album. Overall, production, mixing, and execution-wise, I found Boys Like Girls' new album to be okay. It wasn't the best album I've listened to this year, but it's an okay listen. The reason why I'm giving it under a 7 is because I really wanted to like the whole album, but Physical ruined it for me. That track was just forgettable and cringy, so it's going to get under a 7, I can tell you that. It's an okay rating, so for a score for me, I'm giving Boys Like Girls' new album, Sunday at Foxwoods, a 6.5 out of 10. Okay album. There are some strong highlights to this album. I will give it credit where it's due. The Outside, Language, Miracle, and Story of a Lifetime are my favorites. The rest are solid and disappointing. So it's a shame that I have to give it a very low score, but hey, it's just Physical ruined it for me. This album's hype and excitement with how the songs were making me feel. So majority of the tracks were pretty solid, but it's just Physical was the worst. So 6.5 out of 10 for Boys Like Girls Sunday at Foxwoods. Keep in mind, this is my opinion. I think this album's okay. It's not the worst thing I've listened to, but it did have some issues with certain production stuff in the album with certain songs, but it sounded alright. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching this album review. 6.5 out of 10 for this album.